Hello, I'm Sandy Young, and I'm a 19-year member of the praise team at the 9 o'clock service, and I'm very pleased to be able to do a devotional reflection for you today. As we all continue to adjust our lives during this challenging time, I imagine there's so much that's swimming through our minds that we're experiencing a rainbow of emotions, and unfortunately not all of them are positive, especially as we listen to the news reports. And yet, we realize that we must watch out for the health and safety of ourselves, of our families, our friends, our country, and our whole world. And we need to stay positive in doing that. At the same time, I am very buoyed by expressions I see of hope and resiliency. And those include small things, ranging from friends who are driving by a small child's house to toot their horns and wave for a birthday, or comedian James Corden pulling together famous musicians who give us a concert from their home. That's a wonderful way to uplift us during this struggle. And one of the things that James was especially poignant that night, and he talked about how this virus is equalizing us. And yet, I know I struggle with feeling useless. I really want to be able to help. I don't know how to help. And I'm one of those people who is immunocompromised, more contagious with viruses, and always been cautious as it is. And so I know that there are many others out there who have conditions, medical conditions or other risk factors, and you want to help, you really do. And yet you have to war against the safety versus benefiting your fellow man. So I've thought about it, and how do we, in this time, serve as everyday heroes? Now, to clarify, I consider the superheroes during this time to be our medical personnel who are out there saving lives, and our first responders, those who are in essential jobs that keep working to serve others and keep our country rotating as it must. Businesses who decide that they're going to make a wholly new product so they can put out protective gear. You know, those are the superheroes. But we can also be everyday heroes. And since I'm not famous, we're not famous, we don't have a national platform that we can reach out to people, but there are smaller things we can do. So I've been thinking of some of those and would like to share them with you. And one of the most important, I think, and easiest is to connect with others, especially those who might be feeling the most isolated, the most vulnerable and depressed during this time. You could just reach out to someone, a phone call, a text, a Facebook message, some way to show them you care. And I found that I'm especially wanting to reach out to my single lady friends because it can be a very lonely time for them. And I had a call from a friend at church the other day, and it was just really lovely and uplifting. So that's something you can do from the safety of your own home. Also, you can share a talent. Now, for me, I lean toward the creative talents. That's why I will share with a devotion or a poem and sing with Pastor Bob on Palm Sunday. But maybe that's not your alley. Perhaps, though, you sew, and you can make masks. There are online patterns where you could help make protective gear for our medical personnel. Maybe you do crafts, or you're an artist. You could draw a picture and put it in your window to cheer people up. You could post it on social media. Maybe you're a wood carver. Any of that kind of thing that you might share to bring a smile to somebody else's face. Or maybe you're a good cook, and you could make something, and being careful with physical distancing and safety, put it on a neighbor's doorstep or call Salvation Army and see what kind of food needs they have. Now, also during this time, one of the things, if you can afford it, to consider is donating money. There's so many needs out there, and we're going to potentially, many of us, get money from a stimulus package. Now, some of you may feel fortunate and say, wow, I don't really need that money to live on. How could I donate to a cause? And there are so many things that we can support now for those in need. And you know, those range from food. Maybe your heart is in feeding children and families. Or maybe you would like to give to people for rent who would otherwise be evicted during this challenging time. our great nonprofits, they're continuing to keep their doors open too. And those include ones like Salvation Army and First Steps, the PAC Center, the homeless shelters, the food pantries. You know, that is a great way to be an everyday hero. And of course, we can pray. We can pray because God is listening to us in this time. And we can pray for our friends, for our family, our country, and our nation. And we especially need prayer warriors right now. Now, I know these are pretty simple suggestions, but you know, let your creativity flow as you nurture yourself. And I really hope that you are able to find some joy and some simple pleasures yourself during this time. And that could be anything with ranging from a beautiful sunrise or getting up to see seeing a lovely sunset, maybe hugging a pet or a family member, enjoying a piece of chocolate always cheers me up, or maybe it's just laughing at an old TV show. Most importantly, I think overall that we should show kindness, we should show respect for everyone during this time. Everyone is in a challenging position. It is a struggle. It's not going to end soon, but we are connected and working together, supporting each other. We're going to get through this. We definitely will. Now I would like to share a brief scripture from Philippians 2:4. Let each of you look not only to his own interest, but also to the interest of others. Blessings for your ongoing health and safety during this Easter season.